Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's pretty cold. It's pretty cold tonight. It's a bit cozy. So I've made some tea, and I thought that I share with you something. Before I kind of take it easy tonight, and start doing the last legs of my book editing, um, and or watch some kind of movie or whatnot. I want to share with you some points that I received based on an email I received from Shane. Shane was telling me that he's enjoyed the videos and it's been very helpful to him, and he also tried to watch some other videos and some other books here and there, and he thought most of them are ridiculous and they don't make sense or something. And but he came across a book that was talking about accepting the fact and facing with the fact and all that so forth. And he wanted to know my opinion about the few points that he mentioned in his email to me. Shane, of course, as you know, the stuff that you mentioned on that paragraph about few points and stuff, we've covered it in detail in many different ways in the videos and in very detailed way, which I'm sure if you've had the chance, you've noticed them. So we've already discussed all these, the importance of being with the actuality and not the illusion of the relationship and the memories of it and wishing it back and all that, and that's what it would not let you to move on and so on. We've covered that in detail. However, what I can, and I don't think it's fair or it's appropriate for me to make a comment on somebody else's work, because they've done their job as far as what they believed and their opinion, and we leave it at whoever reads their work and to decide if that works for them or not, rather than me making an opinion on it, which I don't know what their book is all about and so on. But this is what I can share with you, that as we have covered in detail, to move on with your life, we can maybe try to go cover a few points of it, or remind you of a few points of how to move on after a breakup. But I didn't want to say it in this way because I've seen many videos or many people who try to say these are the things you got to do, kiddo. But points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not a formula. You can't move on by just reading a bunch of sentences which describes what you should be doing. It's nice to know what you should be doing, but everybody automatically will know what they should be doing without thinking about it once they know what is happening to their psyche, why they feel that way. And that is why that in my videos, I've tried very carefully to explore the inner psyche of yours in relation to the relationship, to the other person, and to the story, and to the whole experience of relationship. So for you to understand what is it that is missing, what is it that you're feeling, why is it that you're feeling, what happened to your psyche, what are the causes for it, and so on and so forth, why you feel the way you feel. Because once you understand what it is and why it is that you feel the way you do, then you don't think that this is a feeling that is written in stone and it has to be that way and there's no way out of it. No, you feel that way because this is what's happening in your psyche. This is what your consciousness and what your psyche is doing. We talked about the center and order and disorder and consciousness and so on and so forth, the whole of you. And we've talked about all that in detail in different videos. So once you understand that, then you will know it doesn't have to be that way. Now I know why I feel that way. Then it's not a mystery for me thinking that this is how one would feel and there's no way out of it, because that's what it is when a breakup happens. And that's the effect of it. No. And so that's why we've gone through it in detail. However, there are some things that I can share with you, which I wanted to say, are few points that I thought maybe I can remind you of some of the things that we covered in videos. First of all, remember things you got to remember, among many other things that we've covered here, is that we are kind of brainwashed, conditioned from childhood to kind of think of ourselves as if we are lower than the others. Like, you're not as worthy or as good or as credible as whatever in quality or than the others are. Why I say that? Because if you notice, the way we have most of us, or all of us, unless you're, I don't know, living 1,000 years ago or 500 years ago or 100 years ago, you're a prince of some country, and everybody's sucking up to you. But the reality of most of us is that from childhood we're being told through government bodies, systems of education, societies that we are in, from teachers, from parents, from the exams that we have to write. We always had to prove ourselves. Like, I passed the exam. So, I'm always trying to prove that I'm good enough. Or parents say something. Or the teachers, the way they treated us. We're supposed to prove ourselves that we're better than the other one. Competition. So, the reverse of this, all things that we had to do, and we were put to do, is because we were always unconsciously really not thinking about it, been trying to prove ourselves by passing this grade, passing this exam, going to the higher class that was important for us, to be a good boy, better than this one, and the parents or people say, see, so-and-so's son is so good, so-and-so's daughter is so good, you got to be like that, that one has got an A. Constantly, it was an automatic pressure without we really noticing it that we had to prove ourselves, which reverse of it would make us feel we were not good enough. If I'm supposed to prove myself by passing the exam or that exam when we are a kid, when we are grown up and we are doing things for our advancements, so that's education, that's how to get a license of some kind, that we pass exams, we study for exams, so on, to be qualified for certain job and profession that we want to offer, like a doctor or a lawyer, or so they got to know that stuff. So that's why we study and we take exams and so forth, which I personally really don't believe in exams, but that's the world we live in, and we want to make a living, earn our living, so we got to have a certificate of some kind. Somebody else is to approve us. So, and again, we go back to this whole approving thing. So we have to pass all these exams, attend to what the teacher says to do in order to be approved by her or by him. All the time we have to do something and then look forward for some entity outside of us to approve of us. Let me see. I wrote some points here so I will not forget them too. So therefore, in our psyche, we always thought that we are not good enough until somebody else tells us that we are good enough, we're credible, we're qualified. And we carry that into our relationships as well. So when we are in a relationship and then the relationship breaks up, we feel again like as if it's before. We are not qualified anymore. Our qualification has been rejected. We have to now re-qualify. We're not approved of. So because it's broken up. So because we've always been brainwashed to seek approvals. Approval of the teacher, approval of parents, approval of some exam, some test, some competition, some whatever. Kind of we turn into a monkey of different things. Do this, so you qualify for this. Do this, so you deserve for this. Do this, so I will say you're a good boy or a good girl. And that has become a natural thinking of our psyche. And now in a relationship, that's one of the reasons we want relationship, beside all the obvious reasons. The relationship and, getting to know each other. We're a boy and there's a girl and so on. That's a natural attraction. But we also want somebody else's approval and affirmation. That's why relationship to us is so important, to have a girlfriend. So we know somebody else likes us. So that would translate into, I'm good enough. You know, we've always been conditioned to think that somebody should approve of us by having something or being of value to be with someone. These are all have been translated in some kind of a value for us, some kind of a credit. So when it breaks up, the relationship, we feel, oh, we're now not credited anymore. The affirmation is gone. Approval is gone. Now, that's what it hurts. I got to reapprove myself or get approval. What happened? My approval is gone. And we've always been eager to be approved in life, to prove ourselves. And that's how the brainwash had worked. Now, the other point, let's say the second one. So we've got to realize this. So when we realize this, we know that the pain we're going through, part of it is the approval thing. And then we got to notice that we really don't need approval from outside. The approval, we got to bring it from inside. What we want to accomplish in life, how far we are, where we are, what is our plans, what steps we're taking to fulfill that. And all of that should give us the good feeling of we're building ourselves or we're becoming. So remember we had a video talking about it seems like we've been brainwashed to have to become something. And everything for us translate into that I'm becoming something. As long as I'm becoming something that I feel like, okay, I'm okay. And this having a girlfriend is it's like I've become somebody. And then when it breaks up, it's like, oh, I'm not that what I had become. And so all these has the effects on the psyche. Now, number two, what I wanted to share with you is that to move on is that you got to recognize the reality and actuality of the present time, the present moment, which is she's not with you. If you're a boy and you had a girlfriend, you broke up, and the girls reverse it. She's not with you, and she may very well be with somebody else. So understand that. Realize that. Which means you bringing your psyche, you bringing yourself, your whole of you, the center of you, the whole of you, you bring it into present. Because if you don't think that, if you don't understand, if you don't focus on the fact that the reality is she's not with you, she's with somebody else, then you're not living in the present time with its actuality. You're still in your memory and thinking about that what it was, which means you're not in present, you're not in reality, you're not with the actuality of things. And that, again, is not going to let you move on because you're not with what life is like today, right now. You're still in the past. And that past, if you give it reality, which doesn't exist and is dead, but by thinking about it and not being at the present moment, realizing that the reality is that she's not with you, if you're still in the past and thinking about it, then you give the reality to the past, to something that is not in existence, but you gave it a reality because you think that's where you are. You're still not focusing on this. If you're not focusing on this here, that means you're still looking that way. And that way is there's nothing there. Is a memory, is a video, is a recording. And you're basing your livelihood on the recording. Remember we said if you're thinking about the past and you're not recognizing the present and you're thinking about the past, so what you're living is a death of the past because the past, what you're thinking is non-existence, is dead, but you call that living because you're constantly thinking about what it was in the past, memories, and all the memories are dead. So the living that you call living is a death of the past, which is, we've covered in the videos, it's pretty outrageous, silly to think that way, that our living really is the death of the past. So what good is that? So let's come back to the reality. And the reality is that she's not with you, she could be with somebody else, very well. And just be aware of it. Realize it. That's the reality. So that was number two. Number three is, okay. What I've said is stop treating your memories of her as reality, which is all dead and non-existence. Like if you consider a video of a movie as an actuality of it, like you're looking at the video of a movie, but you actually believe that it's happening now. Well, it's not. So it's not sensible to think the film that you're looking, the movie that you're looking, is actually happening. Well, it's not. No matter what emotions you express yourself through, it's not happening. So again, I think 2 and 3 is the same pretty much. But again, you should realize that the memory is not reality. Okay. Oh, sorry, that was number 2. So it was just a continuation of my writings. So number 3 is understand that you hang on to memory. Okay, are we clear now? That was number 2 and number 1 and then number 2. And we weren't doing number 3. What I was talking as number 3, it was part of number 2. So forget it. So number 3 is, I've said here that understand that you're hanging on to memory because you don't like the disorder. Remember we talked about order and disorder? And when you guys are together at the beginning of the relationship, it was like if it's a disorder because you had a different center, she had a different center, you had a different order for yourself in your single life, and she had a different order for her, created different order for herself. And when you guys got together, your center being different background, different everything, would create a disturbance in her order, in her center. So it would create disorder for her. And her center, her differences, the way she was, her way of doing things, thinking and all that, experiences, would create a disturbance in your center, which would create a disturbance in your order. At the beginning, that's how it was. But after a while, these initial disorders became the new order because you guys got together and you compromised and this and that, fought over it and debated and so on. And after a while, certain things became kind of common. And you ended up doing certain things together or liking certain things together, thinking about certain things together and so on. So there was a kind of a new order had created. And when you broke up, that new order was, which was a disorder at the beginning of your relationship, is broken and became again a disorder, which was actually this new disorder is the order that you had before the relationship started, because that's how you were before the relationship started. She wasn't there, it was all you. So the point that I'm making is, if you're confused by my quick explanation, and I go back to the other videos that I've made, which says new order. It starts the title new order, and that is explains there. So our number 3 point was that you understand that you're hanging on to memory because you don't like the disorder. And you don't want to believe that there is a disorder because she's not with you anymore. So you're hanging on to the memory to create that order that was residing when you guys hadn't broken up yet. Okay? I don't want to repeat the video, so go to the video new order. What is it that you're really missing? And then you will get this new order and break up, you'll understand. Then you come back to this video and you know what I'm talking about. So, that's number 3. Number 4, to move on. Do your stuff as needed, as you've been doing it all along. Because life doesn't give a shit what you're going through. Your school still wants the projects on homeworks. Your job wants the performance and the whatever you're supposed to do. Your friends or bank or that was funny though, bringing friend and bank in the same sentence, because banks are no friend of anybody. But the people that expect things from you, or your responsibilities, duties, that's part of life, and the life doesn't give a shit that you're actually going through some kind of emotional problems. It is not like you're in school and you bring note from the doctor or from home, so they will accept your excuses. Say, okay, you don't have to do your homework because you're going through, I don't know, you have a cold or you're sick or whatever. This is no letter. There's no letter coming from your doctor or home. So you can't expect life to recognize your pain as a breakup pain and say, oh, I don't feel like to work. I don't want to go to work. I'm depressed. I don't want to live. I'm not happy to go to school. None of that. I understand that. And you're probably feeling that way. I know. I've been through it too. But it doesn't count. Everything is going on out there. And all you're doing, you're just taking yourself out of the equation. And that certainly is no way to fulfill your plans or get closer to achieving your goals. So you can't count on that. Now, number five, find new friends. Find new friends and follow your plans. Stay active and be in good physical shape, because if you're in good physical shape, you'll have a good mood. Your psyche would be in good mood. And when you're in good mood, you'll have a good confidence. You'll be confident and you'll have more confidence. And when you have more confidence, you'll attract others when you're in a good mood. You know, you've never been attracted to someone who's not in a good mood. You've never been attracted to someone who's not confident. And therefore, stay in shape, exercise to your level, be in a good mood. That brings you confidence, and that will be shown out there. And you will attract some friends that you may decide, oh, she's the right person for you, somebody to get to know. Just be friends. You don't have to focus on a new girlfriend. Just be friends. Find friends. And if that's supposed to be, it will come together. And then after that, just give it and continue doing all your duties and responsibilities, and don't stop on those. And but before any of these to work, you must want to be fine. You must believe that you want to move on. You must want to move on. You must want to be fine. Don't sit there and say, no, I don't want to be fine because I find it betrayal if I am fine, and if I like somebody else, that's a sin because I liked her. Now I have to be very loyal to her because it's a guilt. It's I can't love another. I can't be friend with another. It's a sin if I don't like her anymore. It's a sin if I forget her anymore. It's a sin if I love another. It's a sin if I forget about her. These are all just things that you play in your head because you think it has anything to do with your feelings being true and loyal to her, or it's your honor and code of honor that I can't now go with somebody else. What? Open your eyes. She's gone. She's having her own life. She's moved on. So you can't be so emotional and say, no, as if you think if you go out with someone, if you find somebody else, your nightmare that she's going to go to bed with somebody else is going to happen only if you go on and move on. And as long as you haven't moved on, then nothing that you don't like, she's not doing any of that. Forget that. She has her own life. She has her own right. She has her own life. She has her own decisions to make, and you're not responsible for her. That's what she wants to do, and she has all the right to live the way she wants. And so do you. You have all the right to live the way you want. So, go on. It's no sin to love another. It's no sin not to like this one who's left you. It's okay. That's how it is. She's doing the same thing. She's gone somewhere else. Don't get hooked on the fact, oh no, she still likes me. Forget that. You don't need that. See, again, you're looking for approval. That's you're not letting it go because you want that approval to still be there. And you think by moving on, that's totally is broken, and it's still not broken, and I want to keep that because I want to be approved. I want to be still credible. Still that brainwash of thing that somebody else has to, tell you that you're still good or you're whatever. Okay. So none of that excuses should be in your mind. Now, the only thing that is stopping you from moving on is really to be fine is your own mind and nothing else. Bruce Lee said the biggest obstacle in life, the biggest mountain that you need to climb in life, biggest obstacle to let you do the things you want to achieve in life is your own mind, which is true. Because as long as you don't command it, nothing happens. The body that we have, the things that we do, all the command comes only if we think of it. If you put your hand over here and say, my hand is stuck to my shoulder, my hand is stuck to my shoulder, my hand is stuck. You really believe your hand is stuck with a strong glue to your shoulder. As long as you're thinking that way, you can't move your hand away. You can't take it out because your mind has commanded it and made it so. And the order is that it's stuck here. So as long as you think that way, you can't unglue it. You can't take your hand off. But as soon as you say, okay, I can take my hand off here. It's all up here. So you think, I can't move on, then I can't move on. So the only thing that stops you from actually wanting to move on and be happy is your mind. Because really, in reality, nothing has happened to you. Nothing physical has happened to you. It's only your mind that has given a physical pain or physical existence to a non-physical event. Because a non-physical event, therefore, it cannot stop you from doing whatever you want to do. Unless it is not thought by your mind, your body can easily move on. Unless your mind is not saying to you that I can't be happy, you can be happy any moment like that. So all you do have is just take your foot off the pedal, off the stop pedal in your mind. That means just release your mind from thinking or commanding you that you must be sad. Something bad has happened. You can't move on. No, just reverse it. I can move on. I'm going to go out right now and I'm just going to simply focus on the things that Mehran was talking to us on the videos on 113, it's the 14th, I guess, or 15th videos. And I can be fine. I can have fun. I can do my studies. I can go to my school. I don't care if she's in the same class or not. I can do my job. I don't care if she works in the same company or not. I can attend to I can go to the gym. I can exercise. I can do all the things I want. Because when I'm watching a movie and it's a funny movie or it's an action movie or whatever movie it is that I'm enjoying it and I'm into it and following the story, I'm having fun. I'm not thinking about her. So really, when you're not thinking about her, you're fine. Everything is fine. You're laughing, you're doing things. But as soon as you think of her, like you come out of the movie and it's not entertaining you, you're not busy with your mind with it, you start thinking about, then you react to what you're thinking. So really, everything is up here. So you command yourself, no, I'm fine, I'm going to go and enjoy myself and I can move on and find new friends. Then that's what happens. So you must focus on that too. So really what it is that nothing physical has happened. All what has happened is a reflection of some event on a surface of a calm water. In other words, something happened, disturbed the water, but now the water naturally, automatically recovers and stops from being disturbed and moving and all about, becomes calm again and recovers from that disturbance. You know, you throw a stone into the water, it moves a bit, flops, flips, and then some waves comes up and eventually the stone is gone down, is engulfed by the water, and its all surface is shiny and calm again, right? So that's what happens. It's the same thing with you. Something happened, disturbed your psyche, disturbed your, order, and it's now simply just like the reflection, it's gone. Only the reflection is left. Like only your memory that a disturbance happened. But really, the disturbance itself is gone, is dead, non-existent. They broke up, took place, she's gone away, and everything is fine. And none of those actions, even that relationship, it's all memory. Nothing exists because as soon as something happens, a second later, it's dead. It doesn't exist. So right now, you're really bothered by the fact that you're looking for the reflection of that stone. Like a stone was thrown in a pond and it hit there and the waves were there, but because it's all calm and recovered, but you know where it fell. You know where the stone was thrown. So you're still looking at that as if the waves are still, but there's no wave. It's recovered. It's all good there. Only your thought, because you saw it flowing in there, you think it must still be wavy and choppy. But it's not. It's gone. It's finished. You can go on. Same thing. Something happened, disturbance happened in your relationship, and it's all over. It's good. You can go on, you move on, but you keep thinking about that relationship. You don't want to let go. And you keep thinking about that disturbance, that breakup, and as if it is still there. But really, it's finished. Everything is finished. Nothing is in existence anymore as far as that relationship is concerned. Whether when you guys were together, it doesn't exist. It's gone. Is a memory. Is dead. And whether the breakup, the whole situation of the breakup, is also gone. So really, you're just looking at what happened, remembering it, like you're looking at where the stone was thrown in the pond. But really, there is no more trouble there. It's all recovered and it's all fine. It's just a reflection. So same thing. Okay, we covered that. Okay, so let's go the illusion of the distortion, and because everything has been recovered in your relationship, the same as the stone being thrown in the pond. Once it happened, just like the pond recovered the waves that the stone created, the disturbance of the breakup is also recovered by the energy of the universe, because we're all connected to this big, humongous energy of the universe. And that universal energy is constantly moving about and recovers these disturbances. So our psyche is only just remembering what happened, but whatever happened, it's no more. It doesn't exist. It has no effect on you anymore. But if you keep thinking about it, you think this stone is just thrown and the waves are still going. But you have a memory of the waves that the stone created. But there is no waves. The stone is gone down deep, and the energy of the universal has recovered the whole surface of your psyche. Everything is cool and dandy. Okay, we covered all that. So that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you. So if you put all these 5, 6 numbers together, you can create a little bit of a sequence for yourself if you want. But I really don't believe in sequences, because it's all a matter of emotions and understanding what your psyche has gone through. It's not about a formula. It's about understanding what is happening, what you're doing to keep this thing going on with the pain. But if you understand that and then release yourself from it, you'll be all fine. I talked a lot. I hope you have something to think about, and enjoy your evening, and talk to you soon.